The sun was dipping low over the dusty horizon when a scene of despair unfolded in a small frontier town. A poor, desperate father stood in the middle of the marketplace with his 3 daughters, each one trembling with shame and fear. Times were hard, food was scarce, and in his brokenness, the man made a choice no parent should ever face. He announced that he was selling his daughters to the highest bidders, hoping to buy enough grain to keep himself alive. The crowd gathered, murmuring with both pity and disgust. The 3 sisters clung to one another, their eyes filled with tears, praying for some miracle. One was barely out of girlhood, another in her prime youth, and the eldest carried the quiet dignity of someone who had already known too much suffering. People bargained cruelly, treating the young women as though they were cattle. Then, through the noise, one figure pushed forward, a rancher known in those parts for his stern yet just ways. His name was Samuel, a widower who had raised 3 strong sons on his own. He had come into town only to buy supplies, but the sight before him struck his heart with both anger and compassion. He saw not objects for trade, but human souls in need of rescue. "Stop this madness," Samuel said, his voice firm, cutting through the marketplace. "No man has the right to sell his daughters like this." The father lowered his head, muttering excuses of poverty and hunger. But Samuel was not one to argue in front of a crowd. Instead, he stepped forward and laid down enough money to silence the bidders, ensuring the 3 sisters would never fall into cruel hands. Gasps rippled through the people as Samuel took the young women away from the auction block. The sisters, though shaken, felt an overwhelming wave of relief. For the first time that day, they were free from humiliation and danger. Samuel did not take them as servants, nor as slaves, but as guests deserving of respect. When he brought them back to his ranch, his sons were surprised to see 3 frightened girls step down from the wagon. Samuel explained what had happened in town, his voice heavy with sorrow for the father who had abandoned them. But then, looking at his sons, he spoke with hope. "My boys, these young women need more than shelter, they need a family. They deserve honor, care, and a future. And I see in them companions for each of you, if they will accept." At first, the sisters were unsure, still reeling from the humiliation of being nearly sold. But as days passed, they saw the kindness in Samuel's household. The sons treated them with respect, offering protection instead of possession, companionship instead of cruelty. Slowly, trust began to grow. The eldest sister found her spirit matched with Samuel's eldest son, a steady and hardworking young man who admired her strength. The second, bright and full of laughter despite her suffering, softened the heart of the middle son, who had once sworn he would never marry. And the youngest, innocent and tender, found in the youngest son a gentle friend who cherished her smile. In time, the sisters chose love freely, and each one was married with joy, not shame. The ranch became filled with laughter, the sound of children's voices, and the warmth of a family built not on wealth, but on compassion and honor. As for Samuel, he often sat on the porch in the evenings, watching his sons and their wives working together, their children playing in the fields. He knew that by stepping forward that day in town, he had not only saved 3 lives but had also given his family a future richer than gold. What began as a scene of despair ended in hope, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, one act of courage and kindness can change the course of many lives forever.